Welcome to Whole Life Mind and Body podcast. My name is Shay Springer, and honestly, I don't know what I'm doing. I've been putting this off for months, and I just have a story to tell. I have life experiences to share, and I have a journey that I want to make people aware of. I have planned this podcast out from scripts to all kinds of different ideas, and I was so afraid to do this. But recently something happened to me and I really wasn't sure. So I'm going to take you from the beginning and I hope you stay along with me for the journey to understand how I got here. So a few months ago, back in January, I decided to start a podcast and I wanted to be about end of life stuff, death and dying, the experience of it, what I've gone through as an end of life doula. I'm an educator. I'm so many different things in this life, to the point where you become a jack of all trades and a master of nothing. And that can be extremely exhausting. And people look at that as ambition. They look at that as a go-getter. But when you have so many different things going on at once and you haven't mastered any of it, it can become overwhelming. So a few months ago, I decided to start a podcast and I did. I bought the furniture. I have a studio. I have everything that I need, right? I was very blessed enough to do this. And it's not fancy. It's cute. It's adorable. It's a studio in my apartment. But where am I at right now? I'm in my living room recording on my blue sofa. But that defeated the purpose of me creating the studio. So the studio has been done since January. It is now almost April, the end of April. And I'm in my living room on a blue sofa recording. So after I decided to start the podcast, I started the script. I started working with a friend and we came up with these ideas and we sat down. And then I started recording with a business partner and I didn't like the way that turned out. I don't know what I was expecting. Even though I did record a podcast before, I didn't know what I was expecting from this whole scenario because it's all me. It's me. I'm the creator of this. You know how they say you are the creator of your own life? Well, I was the creator of this. And I don't know. It just didn't feel right. So months went on. And my business partner did bring up to me a couple of different times, what's going on with this? Why hasn't it happened? And I really didn't have an answer for it. I just didn't. So a few months went by and this now puts us in April. So recently after work, I went for a walk and I was with my business partner and I went for a walk and it was literally, we left work, drove our car to the Lincoln Park area in Chicago and we got out. I got out of his car. I had my backpack in my car, in his car. He had his wallet and things. And we, got out, not even thinking, just got out of the car. I put the backpack in the back of his car because we're going for an exercise. You don't want to bring your backpack. I know it's stupid, but you don't want to bring your backpack and all the things. So I had my work computer in there and I left my wallet in there. Well, we had done this like a billion times walking just to get some exercise, right? And this one particular day, we got to the park, got out, as usual, did everything we were supposed to do. And then when we came back and we noticed that green blanket, when we got back, was outside the car. And he thought, well, it must have blown out when I put the hatch down. Walked over there and noticed that his back window was busted out and our backpacks were gone. Most people would be so frantic over that and like, oh my God, it's this. I am not that kind of person. I immediately calmed my soul and I went into, okay, now fight mode, not flight, but fight mode, which is something most people don't do. They go into flight mode. And I realized that is a skill, that is a unique gift I have. I actually started calling the banks, canceling my cards, doing everything that I needed to do so that my money wouldn't be taken. And I was in such a calm space when I did this. But what I realized was that I really wasn't in a calm space. It just looked like I did to the outside world. If you hear things in the background, like I said, it's because my daughter is deaf and autistic and I'm on my blue sofa and I am recording this podcast in the raw. You get what you get. It is what it is. So I ended up getting my bank on the phone, credit cards, canceling everything. And as I'm doing this, these bastards tried to use my card and it was declined. So I was very happy that I was able to stop them from taking any of my money, my daughter's SSI money, all the things that would have really turned my life upside down. But they did get away with my Beats headphones. They got away with my earpiece for my car, my work computer, my iPhone 17, which I just recently got like 6 months ago when it first came out. And some other things that were in my backpack, my work credit card. Luckily, there was no money on it because they only replenish it every day if you need it or when you need it. Eyes, you know, and they only put a specific amount on there, which is very smart. And I'm so glad they did that. So immediately, once all the dust had settled, I really had a moment to think about it, right? My car keys were in there and my driver's license was in there. So then I could feel myself like getting a little anxious and I'm like, okay, what can I do to prevent this? Because now they know where I live. So it ended up being, I had to take my car in, change the key fobs, change the locks on it, $1,400 later. I have to change the locks on my apartment building for the entryway gates because now it's only 3 people that live in this building. But luckily, it's a blessing that there's only 3 of us because I have to pay for the keys for that and the back gate and the basement door. I don't know how much that's going to cost. On top of rents coming up, and that's $1,500. On top of all of my other expenses that's coming out. So the people that pretty much robbed me has put me in a hole that I did not anticipate being in of probably roughly around maybe $4,000, maybe, with the loss of everything. And then you add the added expenses on there, it's a lot more, all because I left my backpack in my business partner's car. Now, what happened to him? Well, his wallet didn't get stolen because it was under the blanket and they didn't see it. He got his glasses back. He got his wallet back. They did take his backpack with his children's and his family's social security information in there and his taxes are in there. So he has to replace his back window, $400. And I got to thinking, I was like, I haven't lied to anyone. I've always tried to be honest. And if I make a mistake, I apologize for it and I take ownership of that. And it's just like, what did I do to deserve this? It seems like every time I get 2 steps ahead, I get knocked back 10. So I've been dealing with this for the past 48 hours, right? And I'm the type of person that doesn't want to wish ill will on anyone. I am faith-filled. When I say faith-filled, I'm faith-filled. And I believe in the goodness of all, but I do get upset about things. I don't want people to think that I don't get upset, that I have all the answers, that I'm so calm about everything, because I do get upset. I get pushed. My buttons get pushed. But I did not deserve this, and it feels like a complete violation of my rights. The night that this had happened, I literally wrote in my journal that I am grateful that this happened, and I thank God that I was able to act quickly so that my identity wouldn't be stolen. You know, I was up at 3 a.m. in the middle of the night. I woke up and I ended up going to TransUnion, freezing my social security number, freezing everything so that nothing could be used for the next year. But then yesterday I was out and about. And when they told me that it was going to cost me $1,400 to change all the locks on my car so that my car wouldn't be at risk of being stolen because it is a leased car, I instantly put my hands over my face and was ready. And I had to stop myself because I didn't want the people in the dealership to see me cry. And I didn't want my business partner to see me cry because even though he has a busted out window, he has a car and he was taking me to and from where I needed to go. Now, in the grand scheme of things, with everything that's going on in the world, there's so much more I could be upset about. And yet here I am worried about this $1,500 plus changing the locks on the doors, plus making sure that I keep a roof over my head, plus replacing everything that was lost because I do use every one of those things, those items. It's a lot to carry. And I am someone who does not share a lot of my emotions because 1, I'm a Scorpio and I'm very private. And 2, sometimes I feel it just has to be like me and God. So I came home yesterday after we left the dealership and I lay down and I lay there for like 20 minutes and fell asleep because I feel like my heart is so broken right now because of this. And then when I woke up from my nap, I looked up at the ceiling and I was just staring there and I was like, why did this happen to me? And I heard a voice say, why are you worried about it? Has God ever failed you? And I answered, no. And they said, don't worry about it now. you will be fine. Now, that wasn't the first time I've heard something like that in my head, where a voice telling me you will be fine. When we go through things, we have choices, and those choices are you can either lie down and moan and groan and cry and woe me and be a little bitch about it, or you can just simply say, okay, when you hear that voice in your head, and just say, okay. Now, I'm not telling you not to feel what you feel, because that's important. You need to feel what you feel in the moment that you feel it. Don't try to cover it up. Don't try to mask it like I did at the dealership, but feel what you feel. It is the only way that you are going to be able to get through what it is that you're getting through or trying to push through and work through. And I think that was my way of allowing myself to feel it and to sleep and to come out of it so that I can hear clearly of what I needed to do. Life sometimes throws you these curveballs that you think you see the ball coming right at you and it's straight, but then all of a sudden it curves at the last minute and you strike out. It's like in baseball, but I didn't strike out. What I gained was knowledge. I gained a lesson that I needed to learn. And I do believe in my life the lesson was don't get comfortable. Don't get comfortable because your work is not done. And there's so much that you need to do because I was getting comfortable. I wanted to start this podcast months ago. And for some reason, I thought it had to be perfect. It had to be right because I wanted listeners to hear my voice and hear what I have to say because I have so much I have to say. And I didn't start it. So this morning when I woke up, I made the decision, or the decision was made for me, I should say, is to get up, grab that mic, push the button, and record. And whatever comes out, it comes out. But at least it's in its purest form. And if those who want to listen will listen, but I can promise you this, if you stick with me, there's so much you will learn about life, about growing, about acceptance, about being your authentic self and not living in the ideology of being something that you're not. We call that imposter syndrome. My goal in this life is to teach people, is to coach people, is to help people, is to help them to understand how to get through this life as best as they possibly can. I had a student tell me the other day that they wanted to self-harm. And I asked them, well, what does that look like, self-harming? And why do you feel that way? Tell me more. And they said to me, the world is in such a disarray and everybody's angry and we're at war and I'm expected to go out there and find a job. And to be honest with you, I don't want to find a job. I didn't think I would live past the age of 16. And I said, okay. And then they said, so now I'm supposed to go out there and find a job. And I'm 19. I said, well, celebrate the fact that you made it past 16 to 19. That's, 3 additional years. You've made it. And then she said, I just want to end it all. What is the point? And it was interesting that she said that because yesterday I thought the same thing. What is the point? The point is what you make it. We have to figure out that when we are struggling and when bad things happen to us, it's to how we make it through that. And something I did not tell her during that moment when they said that they wanted to harm themselves or they just want to feel like they just want to end it all. Something I didn't say was do it. And I didn't say don't do it. What I allowed was space for that person to talk through what they needed to talk through and feel what they needed to feel so that whatever decision that they make, they will be okay with. Now, some people would go into, but why do you want to do that? Tell me more, explain to your body, this is not important. We need to go through and feel what we feel. And I recognized that yesterday when I woke up. We have so much to learn together and so much to get through and to talk through together. And this experience allowed me to hit this record button so that I can talk to you. So I do hope and pray that whoever decides to listen and is listening will take something from this. Simply know that your circumstances is not your future. Things that happen to good people will also happen to bad people. It's just how we choose to view in that moment what is happening to us. I'll say it again. You can lay down and take it like a bitch and keep taking it like a little bitch. Or you can feel what you feel, go through the process and get right back up and keep going. You decide the path that you choose to take. Nobody said this life would be easy, but you can do it. You have to want it just as bad as you don't. So I'll thank you all for listening. And I will see you on my next podcast. Be well.